A lot of people want to get Bitcoin, but it's difficult because you have to go to exchanges that are overseas in a lot of different ways. But a Bitcoin is basically it's digital currency. It's a store of value, and effectively there's a public ledger that records the ownership of coins.
But you bought these things in the single digits, right, and now they're worth over $300 each. The reports I've seen say that you put in $11 million and now it's maybe over 40. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. But who makes the Bitcoins? This is the part I still don't really get. I don't think anybody really gets.
Right. So there's miners mint Bitcoins about every 10 minutes, and it's basically a computer algorithm. And
can I mine a Bitcoin if I want to?
You could, but at this point the sort of computers built to mine are so specific that you couldn't really do it as a hobbyist.
Who do I have to call to get a Bitcoin?
You have to go to an exchange.
Yeah. Wait, which exchange? How do I do it?
You can do it in Coinbase, Mt. Gox. Just ACH your bank account in.
And is this an entire gamble, basically, that the dollar is going to fall to zero? I mean, is this basically... This is like a gold bet. Is that what's happening here?
Some people definitely view it as gold 2.0. And then there's also the technology aspect of just the idea that payments are going to increasingly use a network like the Bitcoin network to move money around the globe. So, but in terms of a store of value, it definitely has the properties of gold, and people are viewing it that way.
But it has the properties of gold. You have to mine them, so that's why people think of it. But they're mining them digitally but I would think that you could mine as many as you want ultimately. No.
So there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. That's part of the.
And who decided that? Who is the Ben Bernanke of Bitcoin?
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right. It's Satoshi Nakamoto. It's a pseudonymous creator that we don't know, but the whole point...
So you don't know him? Nobody knows him?
The whole point is that you don't need to know him because it's based on cryptographic trust in cryptography and not trust in an individual.
And your sense of this... I mean, you clearly have made a big investment in this. You're trying to pursue create an ETF.
Right.
Where does that stand right now?
So we filed an amended S1 in October, and we're just still going through the process.
And how long does that process take? Do we know what the...
we don't have a crystal ball, but...
The SEC knows. It's moving. It's moving along.
And let me ask you the flip side of this. The criticism of Bitcoin, beyond the fact that nobody knows who created it and nobody knows really how it all... And that's the criticism, that the regulators ultimately are going to step in and say, you know what, we can't track this currency. It's being used on places like Silk Road, which just got shut down for illicit goods. Because you can't track it, that it makes it actually more attractive for that part of it.
So you can actually track it. It's pseudonymous. Silk Road, the price is double it was before Silk Road was shut down.
Okay.
So the demand for Bitcoin to use for illicit activity was clearly almost zero.
So your sense, though, of the regulators right now, I assume you've been to Washington and had conversations with... We're going to have Senator Levin, who's going to be here at the conference a little bit later, and I hope that we have a question about that. There's going to be other people here who I imagine may talk about some of these issues.
Sure. I think, the discussions that we've had, I think everybody recognizes the innovation and doesn't want to stifle it. But they just want to make sure that there's healthy regulation so it's used in a safe and productive manner.
The risk for you, the price it is today, does that even make sense to you? I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know what you're benchmarking it against.
So, small bull case scenario is a $400 billion market cap. So
a $400 billion with a B.
Yes.
Market cap.
So the market cap's around $4 billion right now. So it doesn't make sense in the sense that it should be 100 times more.
It should be 100 times more. And your sense is that the next time I go on Amazon, or the next time I buy something on name your store.
Shopify actually just accepted it for 70,000 merchants. So they're integrating Bitcoin, and every day you see these stories of sites and merchants, and Baidu in China is now accepting it. So it's happening, and I think the next 6 months you're going to see just a tremendous growth in the infrastructure and merchants accepting it.
But huge volatility in the value of Bitcoin. Therefore, I assume if you were a consumer, it's a very dangerous play to be sitting around with a pot of this stuff thinking that you're going to go buy products that you need on a weekly or monthly or whatever basis.
Well, it's certainly early. With the volatility comes a 2,000% return in the asset class this year. It's young, but over time, as it gets bigger and more mature, you're going to see the volatility decrease.
What do you mean? We've had a number of Fed presidents come on Squawk Box, and we've asked them about it, and most of them, I will admit, write the whole thing off.
Okay.
Well, that creates the opportunity for guys like us. because when people don't see the opportunity and the people who study it do, then the people who actually know what's going on.
What is the potential that there's going to be competitors to Bitcoin, and what does that mean? Meaning, are we going to be living in a world where there's several different types of currency?
It's very possible. I mean, I think everybody agrees, or most people agree, that virtual currencies are here to stay. Will Bitcoin be the ultimate winner? Will there be more than one? It's very possible, but Bitcoin has about 5 years of first mover advantage and definitely a very entrenched user base.
The network effects of money are so great that it's probably a winner-take-all scenario, but there are alternative coins called altcoins already that exist. But Bitcoin is right now the clear runaway winner.
How far, I mean, a year from now, 2 years from now, I'm going to see it everywhere? Or you think, I mean, show me what's the timeline look like so I can understand?
It's going to be fast. If it sort of fulfills a promise, it'll probably be faster than anybody expects. And we see that with technology as a whole. The adoption curves get steeper and steeper. So I think that in the next 2 years, it'll be a completely different landscape, just like the internet. The difference between 98 to 2000 or 2001, it was just a completely different